when it comes to seeking permission, the rule against tajassus, against spying, is a firm one. We all know the story where Umar ibn al-Khattab reportedly, sees people drinking alcohol and says, "I'm going to punish you." And they say, "Well, no, you can't, because the Quran commanded you not to spy, and you saw us without our permission. We were drinking in our home, and you effectively spied on us, so you forfeited the evidence against us," right? The reason when the American Constitution, or had the 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 rule against unlawful searches and seizures, the reason it was considered such a profound point of enlightenment is precisely because it was adopted regardless of the logic of cost and benefit. It was adopted as a moral ideal, regardless of whether this, you know, is pragmatically good or not. There are certain principles and ideals that transcend pragmatism. And when you ponder these laws, including the laws of modesty, or the laws of not using the bodies of whether people you own or people that you in other words, to prohibit the idea that you can commercialize the bodies of human beings in order to benefit financially or otherwise. Again, it's a moral point. Then, in that context, Allah reveals Ayatul Nur. And so we have a right to ask what Allah is talking about are points of moral beauty, things that in society would allow people to feel that they have a sacred space, a sanctified space, a protected space, and that space cannot be violated because someone, for instance, thinks, well, the greater good, if I violate the sanctity of your home, maybe I'm, violating your privacy, but society overall benefits. Or maybe I am forcing you, I'll give you a real life example. In the, unfortunately, sadly, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and maybe still going on, Allahu Alam, in these dictatorial countries, you never know. In Egypt, the intelligence force, al-Mukhabarat, had a program where they went to very famous TV stars, movie stars, singers and movie stars, people like Saad Hosni and so on, and they trapped them and forced them to prostitute themselves for the sake of the country. What they did is that they knew that these movie stars were very popular, were very hot, and so they would have a diplomat have diplomats visiting Egypt or whatever, and they would have these movie stars go have sex with these diplomats, and they would film them and then use the film to extort these diplomats from other countries. And of course, the logic was, well, we're doing it for, for the good of the country. And so what if we force a few women to prostitute themselves if the country as a whole will benefit? And of course, no one was punished for doing that. But what was even the logic of the military, the reason no one was really punished for doing this, and it might even be still going on today, Allahu Alam, because the dictatorial countries, you only know when one dictator wants to, you know, wants to take down the reputation or the legacy of the previous dictator. So when Anwar al-Sadat basically came to power, he revealed what Abdel Nasser did. When Mubarak took power, he allowed things to leak out about what Sadat did. So and so on. But that logic, the thing that was stunning is that when you find, remember, Egypt is a country that has Azhar and has plenty of shuyukh. And when you engage these shuyukh, they never say it's halal, obviously not. But they're not unequivocally outraged. They don't say, oh, absolutely, a ruler that employs Safwat al-Sharif, who was was one of the people who spearheaded this program, is morally bankrupt and entirely unacceptable. And sort of the logic that they have is, well, A, these movie stars are not exactly honorable women. B, well, it's for the good of the country, and, these are the rulers who are, and we, do it. This type of pragmatic logic, do you see how easily it can be the door to darkness? Pragmatism, the same pragmatism that allows Saudis and Emiratis and Egyptians to sit there and say, let the Palestinians die. Just, okay, should we all suffer or just sacrifice the Palestinians? So they're miserable, but at least we're not. Pragmatism can be the door to untold levels of darkness. Part of the whole logic of Allah bringing us from darkness to light is Allah is telling us there are certain things, people, that are beyond the logic of pragmatism. Among those things is your dignity, respecting one another, honoring one another, which includes, and not exploiting one another, not prostituting one another, and which includes respecting your privacy,